There's a flying menace that's wreaking havoc in parts of the South.
Officials at Clemson University are urging South Carolina beekeepers and the public to be on the lookout for an invasive hornet.
Well, yellow-legged hornets found and their nests destroyed in a county in South Carolina. We've got a picture.
The yellow-legged hornet is an invasive wasp that first showed up in Georgia back in 2023. Since then, it's rapidly expanded its footprint and become a serious threat to an important pollinator, the honeybee.
They are extremely predatory towards honeybees.
So they're like serial killers.
Yeah, basically.
And while a small army of scientists and beekeepers are tracking the problem and trying to slow its spread, they've been warning that the next stop on the front line could be North Carolina.
Everybody's watching. Everybody's waiting to see when this thing is going to show up here.
I'm Anissa Khalifa. This is The Broadside, where we tell stories from our home at the crossroads of the South. This week, the fight to save honeybees from a murderous hornet.
My name is Emily Cataneo. I am a freelance reporter based in Raleigh.
Emily writes frequently for The Assembly, an outlet based in North Carolina. There, she's covered a wide range of topics, from the hype behind the mega gas station Buc-ee's to Bigfoot culture in Appalachia. And recently, they sent her on assignment into the world of beekeeping.
I know some beekeepers here in North Carolina and know that the beekeeping community is extremely robust here. And we actually have the largest beekeeping association in the country.
Really?
Yes. And
I did not know that.
Yeah. So when I heard about this threat, this very dramatic, gruesome threat, I thought, well, this is a really interesting clash to report on.
So what is this clash? Like, what is this problem that you're reporting on?
So the problem I am reporting on is the yellow-legged hornet. This hornet is invasive. It conquered Europe over the last 20 years, and it showed up in the States 3 years ago in the port of Savannah, and it has been working its way north ever since. Beekeepers and those who love bees here in North Carolina are battening down the hatches, preparing for if and when the hornet comes here, because it is extremely invasive and extremely deadly to honeybees.
So how did these predatory hornets get to Georgia in the first place?
Sure. So, of course, nobody knows for sure what happened, but the theory is that a hornet queen flew into a shipping container somewhere in China or Southeast Asia 3.5 years ago and woke up in the port of Savannah and flew out of her shipping container. She was probably already mated, and she went out and started a nest. And the thing about these hornets is one nest can produce 500 queens.
Whoa.
So then they go and they found their own nests.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a very invasive species. So these hornets started making their nests. They pretty much have all been in the low country in South Carolina, in sort of hard to reach marshy areas. And they're really going after the honeybees there. And they travel about 50 miles per season. And everyone's just waiting to see whether they're going to cross the border into our Carolina.
Emily says the scale of the threat on the North Carolina border becomes pretty clear when you see one of their nests.
It is a big boy. Yeah, these guys get big really fast. I described it in my story as about the size of a seated toddler. It's very round, about, I guess you can't see what I'm doing, but like from the bottom of my torso to my neck, size-wise, and sand-colored, lots of whorls and dips and combs. So these things are really big, a lot bigger than some of the other native hornets' nests.
But what makes these hornets such a concern is how they interact with honeybees.
They are extremely predatory towards honeybees.
And they do this through a hunting behavior straight out of a horror movie called hawking.
Like a hawk, like a bird of prey. And basically they're like, I'm hungry. I know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to a bee hive. So they go to a beehive, they cluster around the entrance. You can see videos of them like jockeying for the best position, and they just wait until bees are either leaving the nest, or even better, if they're coming home from foraging and they're really tired. And then when they're coming home, the hornets will attack them, behead them.
Oh my God.
Eat their insides or viscera for protein, and then either fling the bodies to the ground for the beekeeper to discover later, or bring the bodies back to their own nests to show off.
So they're like serial killers.
Yeah, basically.
So let's talk about honeybees for a minute, apart from their gruesomely killed bodies. What is the benefit of honeybees? Why is it so important to protect them?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple different reasons. First of all, there's honey production. There's a huge demand for local honey in North Carolina, as there is in many places. And we actually already don't produce enough honey here to meet that local demand. So if these hornets come and they kill off so many of our honeybees, and or the honeybees are afraid to leave their nests and go forage and the nests die off, then we're not going to have that honey that, is so important to so many people. There's also the potential threat to agriculture. Agriculture is huge in North Carolina, obviously, and honeybees are really important pollinators. So without them, we could see an impact on the fruits and vegetables and flowers grown in this state.
Yeah.
Interestingly, though, in the course of my reporting, I found that almost the most important thing about the honeybees that I witnessed was how important they are to the beekeepers and to the people who love them. People were talking about how beekeeping is like therapy to them, that it just becomes this really, really important thing to them. Like they really care about their bees the way that we might care about any other kind of pet. So these bees don't just have utility, they also are like somebody's way of life. 50,000 people's way of life in North Carolina.
Wow, 50,000 people.
That's what I heard, that there are 5,000 people in the association, but it's estimated that there are 10 times that many who keep bees in North Carolina.
Typically best to inspect from the back of the hive because the bees fly out the front door.
Should I grab my phone?
Yep, hold your phone and just pop this open. So that is Paropolis.
I spoke with a guy named Whitaker Granis, who's a president of one of the beekeeping associations down near Fayetteville.
If we can see the queen, that'd be awesome. But if we can see signs that the queen has been here.
He showed me some teaching hives that he has kind of tucked back on some, I think, state land.
What is a teaching hive?
It's a place where people who want to learn about beekeeping can come and he can show them like what it's all about.
So we are checking on the amount of resources that this hive has. We're going to look for both pollen, which is their protein.
He's ride or die for bees, but he is a when, not if kind of guy when it comes to the hornets.
And while we're hopeful that they are going to be able to do containment and keep these yellow-legged hornets constrained to one area, the reality is that they have already expanded beyond that, and they've already traveled hundreds of miles. If they don't hitch a ride on a truck, that means we're 2 to 3 years away from them. If they hitch a ride on a truck and come by one of the big highways, they're probably closer than that. So it's time to start getting prepared for this new threat to our honeybees in America.
So how are beekeepers preparing themselves to face this yellow-legged hornet? How do we fix this?
One really important tactic that they are presenting to the state's beekeepers are these traps. There's nothing fancy about any of this monitoring. So basically they get these like gallon jugs and cut a little square hole in it. And they fill it with something called Georgia juice, which is half grape juice and half brown sugar. And bees do not like Georgia juice, but hornets do.
Okay. So then you're selecting for the hornets.
Exactly. So put it in front of the hives, and hopefully when the hornets show up for their gruesome murders, they see the Georgia juice and they're like, oh, a little appetizer. And then they get stuck in the trap, and the beekeeper can see them and report them. And, it's really interesting. When I first started reporting this story, I imagined that there would be some major issue in fending off this threat. Like, there wouldn't be enough funding or no real plan for how to do this. But I was actually really pleasantly surprised. This actually ended up being a pretty optimistic story to me, even given the fact that it's about murderous bugs trying to eviscerate honeybees, because I feel like the way that the state's beekeepers and beekeeping regulatory authorities and such are trying to stop this is actually pretty sound. And it really seems like this community is so passionate about bees and that there is such a reachable and functional state regulatory arm when it comes to apiaries that, you know, they have a good shot, or at least everybody is kind of in it together and working on fighting it together.
Okay, so big important question here. Where are these hornets right now? How close are they to actually getting to North Carolina?
Yes. So on Thanksgiving of last year, a beekeeper noticed hawking behavior in York County, South Carolina, which is just south of Charlotte. And they found a nest there.
Okay. Yeah. So they're very close by.
Yes, they are. I personally think they will show up here at some point, but some of the people I talked to are hopeful that I'm wrong.
With this threat looming on the border between North and South Carolina, beekeepers have been diligently watching for any signs of the hornet's arrival. And for a while, they'd successfully kept the wasp at bay. But then, just a few days after we talked, Emily got an update.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? What's been going on?
Yeah, the hornets are in North Carolina, so that's bad.
That's after a short break.
If you sold somebody a loaded gun who you knew was in a vulnerable state and they shot themselves, I think it is murder. Just because you're using the internet doesn't mean you get away with murder.
I'm Damon Fairless, host of Hunting Warhead. This season, I take you inside the business of suicide and the places desperate people go when they can't find what they need in the real world. Hunting the Suicide Salesman. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Brian Reed. When I created S-Town, I looked at how secrets, lies, and the stories we tell shape a small rural town. Now, on my podcast, Question Everything, I'm going bigger. Hi, this message is for Senator Lindsey Graham. I head to Washington to take on a law that gives tech companies sweeping immunity.
Is how these companies have gotten rich.
Senator Durbin's office.
Join me as I go after big tech on Question Everything from Placement Theory and KCRW, out Thursdays, wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, Emily, so you have an update for us on these hornets. What's the latest?
So, last week, the state got a call from somebody in Union County out near Charlotte that there was a hornet snooping around her hummingbird feeder. And it was suspicious enough that she called the state. So they raced out there and found additional hornets near the Union and Mecklenburg County lines. They sent them off for testing, and as of yesterday, they confirmed that they are indeed yellow-legged hornets.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has crossed the border.
Ugh. So now that they're here, what's the plan of action?
They're looking for the nest. Because just because the hornet came to North Carolina once doesn't mean that it has to take over the whole state. And they are trying to find the nest using those traps that I mentioned earlier. So I understand they have 200 traps around the house where the hornet was spotted.
Wow.
And they are using those to try to lure the hornet. And then when they see it, drink from the trap and then take off again, they can hopefully follow it and use that to find the nest and remove it before they make more inroads here.
So what does this mean going forward for honeybees in North Carolina?
Yeah, we knew that this was a distinct possibility that they were going to come here. And frankly, it seemed like it was only a matter of time. Just because there has just been one nest doesn't mean that there have to be dozens more. Hopefully they can contain it. And the way to prevent the spread is for the owners of honeybees and just for civilians, like this woman had a hummingbird feeder, to know what these hornets are, keep an eye out for them. And if you see something that looks suspicious, then tell the bee inspectors, and hopefully they can track it down and prevent the hornet from killing all the cute and important honeybees in our state.
All along, it seems like people have been sort of anticipating this, and there's been a community, effort to monitor and see if they're here, like you were telling me before. But now that they're actually here, do you see this response like ramping up in any way? How do you see people kind of meeting the moment, as it were?
Yeah. Well, I will say that I found out that they were officially here when one of my sources, Whitaker Granis, the president of the Cumberland County Beekeepers Association, forwarded me the press release. And he is actually out on parental leave. He's not working. He's taking a step back from his beekeeping duties, but he still took the time to send me this press release. So I think that shows that people are really invested in this, and everybody was on the edge of their seat trying to see what was going to happen. And while it's too soon to see whether this changes the community response, because people just found out that it was officially here, I would imagine that, it's going to continue in an amplified way what people were doing previously, putting out the traps, spreading the word, keeping an eye out, and really trying to batten down the hatches and hope that the hornet doesn't spread to more counties.
What are you going to be kind of keeping an eye on or following with this story going forward?
I'm going to keep an eye on whether they find the nest. I think that's the next big thing that we should be paying attention to. Also, if there are more nests. I mean, there is kind of a worst case scenario. What was happening in the Low Country in South Carolina, where there are lots and lots of nests in hard to reach areas. I hope that doesn't happen here. But I will be charting the march of the hornet and seeing whether this ends up being an isolated incident or something a little bit more serious.
Thanks so much for hopping on the call to give us this update, Emily.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help.
If you want to check out Emily's reporting on the yellow-legged hornet for the Assembly, we've dropped a link to it in our show notes. This episode of The Broadside was a co-production with the Assembly. It was produced by Charlie Shelton Ormond with field recordings from Emily Cataneo. It was edited by Jared Walker. Our executive producer is Wilson Sayre. The Broadside is a production of WUNC News and is part of the NPR network. If you have feedback or a story idea, you can email us at broadside@wunc.org. If you enjoyed the show, leave us a rating, a review, or share it with a friend. I'm Anissa Khalifa. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be back next week.
Hello, and welcome to Pluto Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, just stream it for free on Pluto TV, where all your blockbuster favorites are landing all summer long. Catch Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Fantastic.
The Matrix Trilogy.
Welcome to the real world.
Mean Girls.
Shut up.
Titanic.
I'm the king of the world.
And so much more. For showtimes, press nothing. They're free 24/7.
That is so fetch.
On Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Have you ever heard that story that Napoleon used the Egyptian Sphinx for target practice and shot its nose off? Or maybe you've heard that a French astrologer named Nostradamus correctly predicted nearly 500 years of human history. Or maybe someone told you that the legendary blues guitarist Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil at a crossroads in Mississippi. These stories are what I like to call historical myths. Great little tales that may or may not have any basis in historical fact. On Our Fake History, we explore these historical myths and try to determine what's fact, what's fiction, and what is such a good story it simply must be told. If you dig stories about death-obsessed emperors, lost civilizations, desperate sieges, voodoo black magic, and famous historical figures you thought you knew, then Our Fake History might just be your new favorite podcast. If you dig it, then subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.